Hi in Egypt. I know it's after 7 p.m. there, and it's great to be with all of you. Greetings from Philadelphia, as it's our lunch 12 o'clock hour. But I'm so thankful for Herman and Ivana for inviting me to speak with all of you today and share about our exciting initiative, the Philadelphia Fashion Incubator, which is an exciting program that supports emerging fashion entrepreneurs and helping them build, scale, and grow their companies. So I'm going to share my screen. And, I'm Elissa Bloom. I'm the executive director of the Philadelphia Fashion Incubator. I have been with the organization since inception, 9.5 years. We launched in 2012 our first residency, which is a one-year program that teaches the business of fashion to 6 emerging fashion entrepreneurs in the Philadelphia region. And this all came about through a creative, collaborative effort of the civic, corporate, and academic communities all coming together with one purpose, which was how can we support the fashion community here in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is home to 3 incredible top fashion schools. We have Drexel University, Moore College of Art and Design, and Jefferson University, along with University of Delaware. And there are many creatives that are graduating from these programs, from these top schools. And we wanted to find a way to support alumni that were graduating from the schools and encourage them to launch businesses in Philadelphia, because at the time, 10 years ago, many were leaving Philadelphia, moving to New York and Los Angeles, getting industry jobs, and then starting their companies in those respective cities. But Philadelphia is home to a once thriving fashion sector. It was, a very dynamic city of children's wear makers, menswear, textiles, hat makers. We're home to Urban Outfitters, which is a huge retailer that also has a few other brands under their umbrella: Anthropologie, Beholden, Terrain, and also Destination Maternity, which is a large maternity retail company that's also from this area. And just to go back, so the main reason why we wanted to launch in Philadelphia is because of this thriving fashion sector that was once here. And we wanted to cultivate and nurture the next generation of fashion designers here in the city. So that was done really with the help of Macy's as our corporate sponsor. Macy's provides space inside of the historic Wanamaker building in Philadelphia. We have a design studio and workspace for our designers. We also have the City of Philadelphia and our business improvement organization called Center City District that are our civic partners. And then, as mentioned, the universities also partnered with us on launching the Philadelphia Fashion Incubator. And so it's been 9 years. We're in our 9th residency. And as I mentioned, it's a one-year program that teaches the business of fashion. So we don't teach any fashion design. We're really here to help designers grow, build, and expand their companies. And to share more about what the residency program entails, we have a very dynamic education of various webinars with industry leaders, all teaching on various topics related to the business of fashion. We kick off the residency with a business boot camp. That's a 1 week, the first week that we start, which is every March.
هو
كده
كده
اشتغل يا
تمام
امل، كده تمام
كده
يا امل، بس
تمام
من بدري كان لا.
لسه
كده
حالا
تمام.
بس يا امل.
احنا ما فيش ترجمة يا شباب.
Should I continue, Ivana?
هو لسه دلوقتي احنا سمعناك يا امل، حالا لسه دلوقتي.
كان الميكروفون مغلق يا مان. الميكروفون عندك مغلق
يا نبيل، ما سمعتش الترجمة خالص.
مفيش ترجمة
هي
يا نبيل.
الترجمة لسه اشتغلت دلوقتي. اوكي.
Should I continue? Oh, Ivana, you're on mute.
Are we, guys, can everybody hear? Are we having an issue with hearing or translation? Is everything okay?
There is
Now it's
something
okay.
wrong in
Okay.
translation.
Everybody choose a channel, English or Arabic, and then you will be able to hear, okay?
Do you need me to speak slower?
Ivana,
Repeat from where?
Ivana, can you, yeah, I don't
Okay,
think that
so
they
I'll
got.
continue. So we,
Wait, just a second, I'm sorry. They
No,
are,
Ivana,
yes,
Ivana, they had a problem really getting the translation. Can you ask Elissa to quickly again?
In our channel, Amal.
to
Can you
summarize.
please ask Elissa to summarize again what she said, because they had a problem really getting the translation for some reason.
I see. Well, this will be a
Can you
little
please
bit.
really tell her to give the introduction again, at least in brief, one more time?
Okay. We also shared the presentation in Arabic,
Sure.
so there's some of the stuff will be repeated there. Elissa, can you?
Yes,
give-
but what
Yes.
Elissa is having here right now
continue.
is she.
Okay.
No, please,
so-
can you summarize briefly what the introduction
Continue.
again?
Sorry, it seems like they haven't heard anything that you were saying because they
Oh,
share with the translation. So they are asking if it is possible just to quickly summarize the introduction again. I'm sorry about this.
okay.
Sorry. Okay.
No
You don't
problem.
have to go into details because we also shared the presentation with them.
Sure.
تمام يا امل، كده تمام.
كده تمام.
Okay. All right.
هي
Okay.
السلايد الأولى بس.
Okay, so just to give an overview of what I just shared is the
تمام تمام.
كملي.
Are we good?
We are good. We are good. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you. So we have, just to give you a recap, the Philadelphia Fashion Incubator is a nonprofit organization based in Philadelphia. We have the City of Philadelphia as a civic sponsor. Our corporate sponsor is Macy's, which gives us space in the renowned Wanamaker building of the downtown Macy's store that has a design studio and workspace for our designers. And we also have partnered with the local universities that have fashion programs. And what the incubator is about, it's really here to continue to support designers locally in building scalable businesses. And we do this through a very dynamic business of fashion 1-year residency that includes education. As mentioned, we have workshops. We also have various industry leaders that are mentors. We have a mentoring program where each designer meets with an industry mentor monthly to help them further develop their professional and personal skills and have an additional sounding board. We also have an entrepreneur in residence that meets with our designers monthly on their particular business goals and deliverables. And before COVID, I was taking the designers up to New York City. We're only less than 2 hours away. And we would visit various trade shows and have attend various events and have workshops up in New York. And then in addition, we have, as I mentioned, the mentoring program. We have free monthly business office hours. We've partnered with the University of Pennsylvania, the Wharton School, that meets with our designers monthly, and also legal office hours to support our designers and any of their legal contracts or documents. In addition, I, as executive director, meet with the designers weekly for group meetings, and we also have individual one-on-one meetings every week that I meet with the designers. We've had special projects with some of our local community leaders, as I mentioned, University of Pennsylvania. We've worked, their students have worked with our designers as consultants for a 4-month period to work on their marketing and sales deliverables. We've also partnered with a great organization called Nexfab Studios that has 3D printers and laser machines. So our designers have partnered on projects. And then we also have many different events, from fashion shows to pop-ups, various trunk shows, and also partnering with various organizations in the community on annual fashion show fundraisers and other activities that give the designers an opportunity to showcase their collections to new audiences. But the 4 or 5 main impact that we have with this initiative is we are very focused on minority and small business creation. We have mostly served women. Right now we have 5 women in our cohort. We have had men, we had about 5 men that have also come through the program. But it's all about really serving women and minority-owned businesses. This has led to job creation, where our designers are hiring local contractors and local sewers and doing their manufacturing here in the city, which has led to revenue creation. And overall, the improved image of Philadelphia as a fashion-centric city. And then, exposure to industry leaders that designers would not have otherwise been able to connect with. So we've had various events over the years, as I mentioned, pop-up shops and trunk shows, fashion shows. We've had press events. And I'm going to show you just a quick overview of some of the designers that have come through our program. This was last year's residency. We have a big mix of designers that are coming through now. In the beginning, we were very focused on recent graduates, so younger candidates in their 20s. And the program has evolved where we are attracting more second, third career women and men that are 35 plus. We've currently, our cohort of 5 designers, 4 of them are in their 40s. 3 of them are mothers. One has a PhD in psychology. One is a former lawyer. One is a former architect. And even in the 2019 group, we have a former business executive, Nancy Connor, who's in the white shirt. She worked in the dental industry. She's in her 50s. We have Julia at the top middle. She retired from a career in education. She's in her late 60s. So it's not just young designers that we are serving. But this is kind of just an overview. Allie, who has a traditional fashion background, she went to fashion school and also works as a costume designer. She created a gender neutral apparel brand called Pierce. And then Victoria, who is originally from Kenya, who is focused on bringing her the African prints and her heritage into her line of apparel and accessories. Julia, as I mentioned, started her business just 2 years ago, focused on the plus size market. and seeing that there was a need for more sophisticated, well-made, stylish, feminine clothing. And then Praje, who has a more traditional fashion background, who was originally from Haiti. Nancy, who, as I mentioned, started in the dental industry. She has a very interesting brand called Smart Adaptive Clothing that's focused on people, adults with disabilities. So it's a shirt that has Velcro in the placket and also on the cuffs for easy on, easy off dressing. And she was inspired by her father that had Alzheimer's and also had broken his hip. And she had shared her father always dressed impeccably and would wear a button-down shirt. And when he got ill, the homemaids would dress him in a sweatshirt. And when she visited him, she thought, my father would never be caught wearing a sweatshirt. She thought there has to be another way that he can dress how he would like to have been dressed. And this is really an interesting example of these niche categories that our designers are focused on. So it's not so much about creating a whole 20-piece collection. It's really focusing on a very niche sector, customer segmentation, and doing, one or two or three products in that category. Shelby Donnelly has an art background, and she hand makes everything, beautiful apparel and accessories that she prints her own fabric and cuts and sews and does very customized embellishments and appliques on various clothing. And then I'm just going to go through quickly, but I'll just mention our 2018 designers. I'm very proud. So on the top, so Jill Marple McCabe is a designer in her 50s that worked in corporate America. And she came up with a line of wrap dresses. And each dress on the sash, she got a patent to embroider words. So her company is called Truth Be Worn, and it's about wrapping the customer in her truth. And so she has a line of these wrap dresses. Madelange, who graduated from our local fashion design school, Moore College of Art and Design. I'm so proud of her. She's originally from Haiti. She had been working as a nurse. She wanted to pursue her dream as a designer. She's also in her late 30s. And she just opened up her own bridal boutique a month ago. So that's something that's also very exciting about this program is the success that our designers have had. So we've graduated over 45 designers, and over 70% of our alumni are still in business today. So the program has had, great success and impact on these designers' business trajectories. Chanel Halsey started a boys line of shirts. She has 2 young boys and couldn't find really cute, fun, dress-up clothing, more sophisticated for young boys, My Little Gent. And this year, during the pandemic, she also just launched a event space for women. So some of our designers have become serial entrepreneurs in the making. Renee Hill, I don't know if you're familiar with the show Project Runway, but while she was in the Incubator program, she was in the 17th season of Project Runway that aired in 2019. And yeah, so you can see there's a variety of women, ages, backgrounds, and I think that is really what has been exciting about this initiative is bringing designers together in a community where they can share resources, share challenges, share their frustrations, and really feel a sense and a community of support. And even though we're called the Philadelphia Fashion Incubator, I feel we function more as an accelerator program, because we do require that the designers have a business up and running 6 months to 3+ years. So they have to already have a product made, a brand, a logo. So we're not starting from just the idea phase. Tom and Kristen from Charlie Girl Designs are a couple that started a wrap skirt line, which is now called Charlie Girl Skirts. Again, they didn't come from fashion. Nigel did not come from a fashion background. He came from real estate. And then one of our biggest success stories has been Milan Harris, who was in our program for 2017. She started a streetwear brand called Milano di Rouge, multi-million-dollar brand that she was able to build. During the residency, she opened up her own boutique. She launched her own app. She created her own magazine, her own fashion shows. And in 2018, her company got bought, and it has just exploded since then. So definitely check out Milano di Rouge. And Conrad is a former architect. He currently serves on our board of directors. He has more of an artist background, and the incubator has really supported him and nurtured him on really developing himself more as an entrepreneur. And this class was great. This was our 2014 class. All 6 of our designers are still in business today. Therese Brown on the bottom, she is now based in New York. Most of our designers are based in Philly, and that is one of the requirements, that they are committed to staying in the region. But Therese is going to be selling on QVC.com in the next few months, which is very exciting. One of our other designers, Cheryl Mosey in the middle, was just launched her product on air on QVC. And it's just been exciting to see how our designers have continued to evolve their companies and continue to grow their businesses. So I'll just go through this quickly. We have a board of directors with a board chair. We have currently 9 board members that we meet 6 times a year. We also have an advisory committee, which has been a great resource for the organization. Many of our advisory committee members work in retail, in media, in academics, and many of them have taught workshops to our designers. They have also become mentors to our designers. They also serve on our selection committee when we review applications. So they've been a great asset to our organization. And then some of our sponsors and partners. But I did just want to show you quickly. We have another deck. So this is our 2020 designers. So we have Emily, who started a company called Juno Jones Shoes. She does work boots for women, safety work boots for women. And she just started in the program in March. She applied in 2019, did not have samples, so we did not accept her. And she found a manufacturer in Mexico she's working with. And she, since that 1 year that was not in the program, she developed her community. And I just want to share this because I feel this is very important for entrepreneurs and for especially in the creative industries. So Emily created her Instagram account, has over 5,000 followers now. And in addition, she created a Facebook community page, a private page for women that work in hazardous fields, architecture, well, engineers, construction, events. And she has almost 2,000 followers on her private page. And since being in the incubator, when she started in March, she launched a Kickstarter campaign, a crowdfunding campaign, and she was looking to raise $10,000. And because she had this built-in community that she'd been engaging with and connecting with over the past year, she was able to raise the $10,000 in less than 29 hours. And the campaign ended up going up to, I think she ended up doing $31,000. So just, I want to stress the power of creating the community, knowing who your customer is, and having a very focused niche product and a sector. Namita Reddy is our former architect. She worked in architecture for 17 years, and now she's launching a lifestyle brand called Samsara Sari that upcycles antique saris, and she's doing home product, accessories, and apparel. And Nicole Muhammad, who is actually Dr. Muhammad, who has a PhD in psychology. She still works full-time as a psychologist, and she launched a brand called So Elevated because she was not able to find fashionable, well-made, quality, timeless silhouettes and pieces for modest wear. So she launched her modest wear brand. And she has been, since being in the incubator, working on her manufacturing. We're helping her with her merchandising plan, her costing and pricing structure, her marketing strategies. So it's been exciting to see how, you know, she was focused a lot on doing various fashion shows. As we know, fashion shows don't necessarily equate into sales. So now we're really supporting her and building a very sustainable and successful business down the road. And then we have Danielle Tobin, who does art to wear. She takes appliques, her own custom appliques that are like on her jacket. And Melissa Briner, who is she's our youngest one in the group. And she's been an incredible asset, even though she just graduated from Drexel's prestigious fashion program. She has brought so many resources to our designers, from photographers to various apps and just connections, graphic designers through her network at Drexel. But Melissa is launching a men's shoe brand called A. Briner Shoes. She has developed, at her young age of 23, a patent on a solvent to paint on leather. And so she's launching her men's shoe brand in 2021. And we have many public programs, and I would love to invite all of you. They're free every Thursday. Because we are very focused on a small group in our cohort, we also want to be able to be inclusive and share knowledge and create community. And we are doing this through our public program series. We used to do them in person 4 times a year. But since COVID, since the pandemic, I launched in May that we have every week, every Thursday from 11 to 12, that would be 6 to 7 p.m. your time, various webinars on the business of fashion. And I have leaders from every single area. We have entrepreneurs and academics and incredible people that are experts in the field of fashion that come on every Thursday. So I hope you'll join us. I will share information, or you can sign up on our, if you would like to join our mailing list, please get in touch with Yvonne and she can share your emails with me and I can add you so you can be informed of our series. So I'm going to stop there because I'd love to take questions, discuss anything that was of interest to you in what I just presented, hear more about what you're doing in Egypt.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elissa. This was really exciting. I'll just repeat one more time for everyone to look over the presentation with the translation, because all the people who were featured in this presentation, they have their websites and you can actually see the websites and you can see what they're making and the stories and so on.
Any questions? Or if you want to put them in the chat, or if you want to unmute, I would love to.
أنا ممكن أسأل يا أمل؟ طيب أنا
Yes, we have a question, Ivan. And
طيب أنا يعني عندي يعني سؤالين عايزة أسألهم هما إزاي بيجذبوا إيه الطرق اللي بيستخدموها علشان يعملوا جذب لرواد الأعمال، وخاصة مثلا لو في منافسة يعني أخرى منافسة في المجتمع المحيط بيهم، يعني بيعملوا
competing incubators. There are incubators competing with you. Philadelphia. What do you do to attract entrepreneurs to your Philadelphia?
ياخدوا الخدمات بتاعتهم وينتفعوا منها، بيدفعوا مقابل لده؟
So do entrepreneurs, do fishery entrepreneurs pay money, pay fees, for example, to get their services? Also, you talked about minorities or people from marginalized or disenfranchised groups. How do you really target minorities? Can you explain more in what ways do you support minorities? So those couple of questions.
Anything
question,
that
how do you attract and
any of you would like to share? Any business ideas you want feedback on?
Elissa, did you get
Elissa, I'm sorry, I am not sure if you heard, Amal was just translating a question, but I think we had an issue with the tone. So, Miss Amal, can you switch to English maybe, and can you tell us the question again?
Sure. Let me quickly again, just make sure that Elissa is actually on the English option choice.
I can hear you. I didn't hear English. I only heard.
Okay. Did you choose the English channel on your translation?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, what do I have?
Do you see a little interpretation button at the end of the screen?
Oh, yes, yes.
Can
okay.
You choose the English?
Yes.
They have some issues, it seems like, with this translation. Okay, Miss Amal,
can you hear? Yes. So a couple of questions, Ivan. The first question about recruitment of potential entrepreneurs. How do you attract and recruit potential entrepreneurs? So particularly if there are other competitors to Philadelphia Incubator, how do you attract good and potential entrepreneurs? That's the first question. The second question, also you talked about minorities. How do you really support minorities? In what ways do you support minorities? And how do you really also target entrepreneurs, male and female entrepreneurs from minority populations or marginalized groups? A couple of questions. Recruiting entrepreneurs, especially if you have competitors in Philadelphia, and the second is about also targeting and supporting minorities.
Excellent questions. So as far as recruitment, because we've been around for 9 years, it's really been word of mouth. You know, we've had so many successful alumni that have come out of the program that we've built up a reputation for ourselves. There is no other fashion incubator in Philadelphia that's focused on teaching the business of fashion and, you know, this very dynamic program. There's, you know, the schools, the local universities are not really teaching the business of fashion, unfortunately, which now it's starting to change, but I feel there's been a big disservice to many designers that have graduated from these design schools because they don't know how to do their costing. They don't know how to do manufacturing. They don't visit manufacturers. You know, we take the designers on garment industry, you know, tours. They don't know how to do their financial plans. They don't know about how to do their branding or, you know, brand positioning. So I think it just is organically word of mouth. And as I said, because we've built up this reputation, I mean, to me, it's, and even with, you know, how do we attract minority designers? It's just organically happened. As mentioned, I mean, as we know, many women do work and are interested in fashion design. And, you know, we are really here to support all different types of businesses and all different types of designers. And so there's the component of, you know, we meet as a group and we attend workshops as a group, but then there's that customized approach where each of the designers, depending on where they are in their businesses, each of them has their mentor and the entrepreneur in residence and myself to work on their specific goals. For example, Emily is looking for potential investors with her company. She's much further along than some of our other designers. So I've been working with her, connecting her with various people in the community. So, you know, we customize the program to each of the designers' individual needs. And the year goes by fast. And I feel that many times the year is spent, the designers are using this time to really get educated and to take a step back from how they were doing business, to put new business systems in place, or new designs. We've had many designers that have rebranded or redesigned their whole collection. Minky Blue, who I mentioned, who was in our program, who was selling on QVC. When she came into the program, she was doing diaper bags and travel bags. And during the year, she revamped her entire collection and just decided to focus on improving the design of her design bag, of the travel bag. So it's really an opportunity for the designers to take a pause in how they're doing business and bring in new resources and systems and execute them as they go forward. As we know, this is a very difficult business. This industry of fashion is not an easy one. And designers really need to stay open and nimble. And, you know, for example, what we just went through with the pandemic, I think that our designers had a opportunity because they were so early stage with their businesses, they were not holding on to inventory. You know, they were able to pivot. Many of our designers, you know, who were doing evening wear or who were doing, you know, clothing that were not suitable for the times that we're living in now, you know, are now doing masks and scarves and thinking of clothing and accessories that are going to resonate with their customer now. So I think just being able to pivot and being open. I mean, even, you know, our Minky Blue, who was doing travel bags, she has also needed to take a pause because people aren't traveling. You know, she's still selling, but she's also, you know, working on masks and other types of products. So I think, you know, the program really is about connecting the designers to this incredible, top industry network. And we have a very active alumni group. I'm always supporting and inviting alumni to events when we have space for them to participate. We invite them to various webinars. Many of them meet with their mentors, or they'll meet with me. So that's the other exciting part of this program, is once the designers graduate, they have this built-in community of support from their fellow alumni and the fellow designers, and also from the greater community.
Great. Any other questions? I do have a question, but I want to give priority to our friends from Egypt.
وأنا كتبت سؤال في الشات.
We have a question.
ممكن عندي سؤال ممكن أسأله.
أوكي.
Go ahead.
يمكن السؤال بتاعي هل الانكيوبيتور
The question that Marianne has in terms of the support provided by Philadelphia Incubator. Did you provide support in terms of franchising? Have you been able to support one of your entrepreneurs in terms of franchising? And if you have experience with this, how did you support entrepreneurs with franchising? Has there been a specific experience with franchising, or with one of your entrepreneurs trying to get some franchising opportunity?
We have not worked with any designers that have done franchising. Some of them have done licensing or collaboration, but none of them have done any franchises. I mean, many of our designers are doing very unique and original one-of-a-kind pieces, or they're doing small production runs. I'm really proud to say I take the designers up to New York for garment industry tours, and also here in Philadelphia, and so many of them, 90% of them, still want to keep everything in local and in Philadelphia. So they're hiring local sewers and local manufacturers. So they're not, many of them are looking to develop lifestyle brands, lifestyle businesses, except, as I mentioned, Milana de Rouge. And I know that she's done some licensing, but I don't think the term franchising is you're probably thinking more of licensing, because I don't know any clothing designers that do franchising. But I think what's most important, and what we really stress and nurture with the designers, is to create something that is unique and something that's original and something that their customer is going to connect with. And I just want to go back to Emily, who's doing the safety boots, and her story, because it's really incredible how she was able to build this community. And even right now, she has not delivered one boot. Her factory is going to be delivering in January. They got held back due to the pandemic. And she was nervous. She had to send an email because she has a few hundred orders now through her website and through her Kickstarter. And she thought, people are going to start canceling. And she felt, nervous about sending an email, and everyone was so supportive. Nobody canceled any orders. So I just encourage all of you to think about the end consumer and think about what are you creating that is new and different, that is solving a problem that has not been done, or putting your own creative twist on something, and really thinking about the end consumer. And connecting with them, engaging with them, even before you have the product. If you don't have the product, or you don't have the money to get the product produced, if you just have a sample.
I was just going to point out that these interesting examples, and maybe something worth kind of underlining again, interesting examples of kind of addressing a gap in the market for specific types of communities. And again, just to kind of underline, for example, we know that nowadays there is so much spotlight on engaging girls and educating girls in STEM. We will have another program soon that will discuss women in non-traditional professions such as engineering, oil rigs. We found out that there are so many women in Egypt who are actually working on oil platforms and, you know, in the transportation industry. And as you mentioned, Elissa, you know, there is somebody who is actually designing a fashion for them, you know, for the protective clothing, but that can also be feminine, right? So this was something I was just going to like kind of repeat and ask for our colleagues from Egypt to pay attention to that. And then another example was of a lady who designed a clothing for persons with disabilities. And I know that CEOSS works a lot with this community. So this is also maybe an idea worth looking into more. It's definitely like a really interesting example. Not to say that other examples are not worth, you know, attention, but these two somehow stood for me, and is somehow an learning opportunity and something that CEOSS could kind of capitalize on with their communities as well.
Absolutely, and that market is growing. I mean, it was so both, you know, Emily, who's doing the safety boots, and also Smart Adaptive Clothing, who's doing the shirts for people with, I mean, it could be anything from fine motor skill challenges to someone who's going through physical therapy that has not much motion in their arms. But I think, you know, where is the white space, and what are you serving? What's the solution? Because nobody needs another dress or another bag or another necklace. So, you know, really taking time to research the market, talk to the end consumer, you know, get feedback as you're developing your product or your business idea. I think that's very important.
It seems like we have maybe one question from Nabil. Elissa, do you have time to take one more question?
Sure. Yeah.
Nabil, go ahead.
هو انا كنت ايوه امل، انا كنت بس هكمل على الجزء اللي بدأته ايفانا. انا كنت رافع ايدي.
Based on what Ivana has just said, I believe that there is actually plenty of room, plenty of space for sharing experience. Back to the idea actually here of the adaptive clothing and adaptive garments for people with disability. I believe really here that there is really here market in Egypt for this type of garment. But can you tell us more really about types of disabilities, or what type of experiences also that you can share with us? As a matter of fact, yes, this is really a specified market gap. As a matter of fact, in Egypt, many disabled people really have needs that remain unmet. Are we just talking really about people with physical disabilities, or do we have something similar for people with visual impairments, or, for example, hearing problems? And I hope here that hopefully in the future we can also have entrepreneurs from the community of disabled persons. So entrepreneurs who are they themselves disabled, who hopefully can start initiatives like this. There's also another question here that if you have time we can take also from Hani. So would you like to take the question from Hani also, if you have time?
I can go 5 minutes over.
Sorry.
Wait, should I start with Nabil first? I'll start with Nabil, answering Nabil's question. Do you want me to start with answering Nabil's?
Okay. Do you want to take both questions, or you will take them one by one?
Or okay, good. Well, just quickly with Nabil, I mean, I think you're tapping into something that, you know, I think so much of, you know, being an entrepreneur is just opening your eyes, staying curious, looking at what's around, talking to lots of people, finding out what the needs are. I mean, absolutely, there's so much happening with all different types of disabilities that people have different products that are coming out into the market. Nancy just started selling, I mean, Zappos, which is the, I don't know if you're familiar with Zappos, they have ZapposAdaptive.com where they sell adaptive clothing and accessories. So they have identified, you know, this need for selling, but it's been such a market that has never been targeted and has never really been addressed. So I think the first step is just talking to as many people as you can and finding out what would they need. I mean, there's accessories for wheelchairs. There's, you know, one of our local designers, Nancy Volpe Berenger, was on Project Runway, and she worked with a paraplegic. She ended up winning the segment for her design. And, you know, I think, you know, so many times it's just, you know, altering, you know, still everybody wants to feel good. You know, clothing transforms us. Clothing, you know, can change our mood. And I think, and even with accessories. So I would really start with, if you know that there's a need in Egypt, start talking to people, start putting a survey together or a Zoom together to just have an open conversation. You know, what are your needs? And I think just starting from there. All right, honey?
كنت عايز أسأل على
I have a
التسويق.
question about marketing products supported by the Philadelphia Incubator. So do you help them with marketing here? Do you really help them also accessing marketing opportunities? Because I believe if there's a lack of marketing opportunities, then there will be a missing link here. It will be problematic if there's no proper marketing opportunity here. If you have if there are certain marketing channels and marketing opportunities, that will be great. And if you can give us some examples to illustrate what marketing opportunities you provide, that would be great, because lack of marketing opportunities would be a big missing link in such a great experience.
Okay, I think I can answer this question. You know, again, I think it really comes down to, I mean, everything is about marketing, right? I mean, it's all about, first, as I mentioned, identifying what the need is, making sure there's a market for it, you know, doing the market research. And, you know, just because it may not be a need in Egypt, it could be a need in Lebanon, or it could be a need in another country. I mean, we've had designers here in the US that don't really have a market here, but they have a big market in Asia or in Japan. So I think it's really being thoughtful in doing your due diligence with finding out like what the needs are of, I mean, you may have an idea of this product that you think people need, but at the end of the day, if it's not the right product and the right design or look at the right price point at the right time. So I just encourage you to talk to as many people, look at where that white space is, and then, you know, see how you can move forward, you know, strategically in creating a marketing strategy. I mean, I think what's been interesting with what's happening in the world is that fashion is global. Just because you're based in Egypt doesn't mean you can't sell all over the world. I mean, we have designers that, you know, have been selling outside of the US through their websites and through their crowdfunding campaigns. And so I think that it's democratized the way that we can do business, and more people can find out about you through, you know, just takes that one as an example, and then I have to do Minky Blue. So Minky Blue does the travel bags. She had a woman who's a flight attendant who has a YouTube channel, and she said, I'd love to review your bag on one of my segments. She didn't know anything about this woman. She sent her the bag. The woman did, you know, a 7-10 minute review of Minky Blue. and it ended up going viral. I think she had like 40,000 hits. She had hundreds and hundreds of orders from this one person. So I just encourage you to think, yeah, you just have to keep thinking about making sure that you have something that there's a need for, and then you just keep working at it. And I just want to leave you with all of this. I feel like if you work hard, you'll have success, right? It's like when we give up, that's when we don't have success. And success doesn't happen overnight, and especially in fashion. It's not a race, it's a marathon. It's like a 5-10 year marathon. And I think if you're passionate about it and you feel strong about your belief and your confidence in the particular product and that particular market, I think just keep on keeping on. Don't give up. I mean, you may find, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or it could transform into a whole other product that you never had imagined after speaking to your target customers. So I just encourage you to stay open and just stay connected to doing your research and speaking to your customer. And everything is timing. You have no idea when I mean, Cheryl's been doing this for 8 years now, and it took this one video for, this big jump in her sales. So, well, best of luck to you. I would love to keep in touch. I can put my email in the chat, and I'm also on Facebook and
you said that there is a possibility to attend the Thursday webinars online.
Yes, and that's free.
And is there some kind of registration in advance, or do you have a link to where they can find this?
Yeah, Ivana, I'll share the link for tomorrow. So tomorrow we have one on financial excellence and cash flow. And I will add you to our mailing list. And then if any of the guests on the call today on the Zoom want to be added, just forward me their emails.
Great. You guys, I hope you heard this. So this might be also a very nice opportunity to actually see how this business support is given. What's the format, what's the content of the teaching, and the seminars that they organize online for the aspiring business persons in the fashion world, I guess, fashion industry. So if anybody wants to see that, if anybody wants to attend one of the seminars or more, send us the expression of interest and we'll arrange it.
Great.
Great. Thank you so much, Elissa. This was really wonderful.
Thank you, everybody. Great to see you. Maybe I'll see you one day in Philadelphia or in Egypt.
We hope so.
Thank you again, Herman, and thank you, Ivana.
Thank you. Thank you, Herman, for connecting us. And thank you, everybody, for your time today.
All right. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye bye.